Okay, stop scrolling. Just for a moment, stop. Because we need to talk about the clip that's breaking the internet, but not for the reason it was supposed to. We need to talk about the 1-second look on a father's face that has unraveled an entire television show, exposed a silent contract we've all been a part of, and asked a question that's now screaming from every comment section, every tweet, every TikTok stitch. What if it was Anna? You've seen it. The heartwarming scene. Trent, the often emotionally reserved father on the hit sitcom Sunnyvale, is holding his son Bryce's newborn baby, Leighton. Bryce is beaming. The music swells. Trent looks down at this tiny, sleeping face and his own face. It softens. It collapses into this pure, unguarded wonder. A single tear might as well have rolled down his cheek. The audience in the studio went, "Ah." The producers high-fived. Gold, they thought. A perfect, viral, heart-melting moment. But then, the detonation. It wasn't the scene itself. It was the memory. The contrast. The unforgiving, high-definition comparison our brains immediately made. Because we have another father on the show. We have Trent's other child. We have Anna. And we remember. We remember Anna's pregnancy storyline 3 seasons ago. We remember the disappointment that clouded Trent's face like a storm. The crossed arms. The sighs about consequences and disrupted futures. The lectures about responsibility. The warmth in that living room set didn't melt. It froze over. Anna's joy was something to be endured, not celebrated. Her baby was a problem to be solved. So when we see Trent now, holding Bryce's baby with the reverence of a man holding a holy relic, our brains short-circuit. The cognitive dissonance is so loud it's deafening. And from that deafening silence, a single, furious question erupted from the audience. If Anna got pregnant, the reaction would not look like this. This is not just about a TV show. Let's be very, very clear about that right now. This is the storyline blowing up the internet because it is a flawless, unforgiving mirror held up to our most ingrained, most often unspoken biases, favoritism towards sons, and the different rulebooks we write for our daughters. So for the next while, let's break this down. Let's talk about why this fictional moment feels so violently real. Let's talk about the silent contracts, the archetypes we're trapped in, the cost of these narratives, and what this firestorm is truly demanding from every storyteller, every parent, every one of us watching at home. First, we have to name the players. Sunnyvale didn't invent these characters. It just dressed them up in 2020's clothing and gave them a laugh track. On one side, we have Bryce, the prodigal son. Bryce has been a lovable mess. He's dropped out of college, started failed tech companies in his garage, dated a series of chaotic but charming artists, and through it all, Trent has sighed with a twinkle in his eye. "That's my boy," the chuckle seemed to say. Finding his way. Bryce's mistakes were framed as journeys. His missteps were experiments. His life was a series of interesting plot points leading, inevitably, to growth. So when Bryce settles down, when he finds a nice partner, when he has a baby, it's the crowning achievement. The lovable mess has finally matured. The arc is complete. The baby is the ultimate symbol of Bryce's redemption and therefore deserving of unabashed, tearful celebration. Trent isn't just holding a baby, he's holding a trophy for his son's completed mission. And on the other side, we have Anna, the wayward daughter. From her introduction, Anna's value was tied to order, to caution, to maintaining a certain path. Good grades, sensible choices, the right kind of boyfriend. Her storyline was about potential, but a fragile one, potential that could be shattered. So when she got pregnant, outside of marriage, while in college, it wasn't a plot point, it was a derailment. Her pregnancy wasn't an outcome of a journey, it was the end of the journey she was supposed to be on. In the show's logic, and in the logic of 1,000 real-life living rooms, Anna's baby wasn't a symbol of maturity, it was a symbol of consequence. Of a mistake made tangible. Trent's reaction wasn't joy, it was damage assessment. The baby was a problem to be integrated, a burden to be managed, a sign that Anna had strayed from the narrow path assigned to her. Do you see the brutal calculus? For Bryce, chaos plus time plus baby equals redemption. For Anna, order plus pregnancy equals chaos. The show didn't need to spell this out. It baked this bias into years of storytelling. It trained us to see Bryce's life as a fun adventure and Anna's life as a delicate vessel. So when the two parenting storylines finally collided in that one clip, the hypocrisy wasn't subtle, it was a slap. This brings us to the silent contract. The unspoken agreement between the show and the audience about what these relationships mean. The contract between father and son is often one of legacy and eventual camaraderie. The son is an extension of the father's line, his name, his spirit. The father sees his own youth, his own rebellions, in his son. There's a forgiveness baked in, a sense that boys will be boys is a temporary state on the road to manhood. A son's maturity, especially signaled by fatherhood, is the ultimate point of connection. It's the moment the father can finally see his son as an equal. The tears Trent sheds? They're not just for the baby. They're for Bryce. You did it, son. You joined the club. You are now a man like me. Now, flip the page. The contract between father and daughter is often one of protection and perpetual guardianship. The daughter is not an extension of legacy in the same way. She is a precious object to be safeguarded. Her value is often, subconsciously or consciously, tied to her purity, her choices, her adherence to a safe plan. Her sexuality is not a fact of life, but a threat to her perceived value. So when a daughter becomes pregnant, especially in a context the father deems inappropriate, it registers not as maturity, but as a failure of protection. The father didn't guard the gate well enough. The thing he was protecting has been compromised. His reaction isn't joy about a new life or her maturity. It's anger, disappointment, and grief over the breach of the contract as he understood it. He doesn't see an equal. He sees a child who made a costly error. Trent's face in the two scenes embodies these contracts perfectly. With Anna, his face says, "My protection failed." With Bryce, his face says, "My legacy is secure." And the audience, a vast portion of it filled with Annas, with people who have lived this unequal warmth, saw that juxtaposition and screamed. This is where the modern media landscape changes everything. 10 years ago, this might have been a gripe in a forum thread. Today, it's a global cultural audit. The audience is no longer just watching. They are forensic analysts. They have the tools, side-by-side comparison videos. Supercuts of every interaction Trent has ever had with Anna versus Bryce. Graphs of his smile frequency. They are pulling up the scripts, not just of Sunnyvale, but of our collective cultural narrative. They are presenting their evidence in the court of public opinion. And their evidence is damning because it's not confined to the show. The comment, "If Anna got pregnant, the reaction would not look like this," is powerful because it's transferable. People are pasting it over clips of royal families, of celebrity news, of their own family photo albums. It has become a universal shorthand for the hypocrisy of gendered expectations. The audience is saying, "We see the code you are running. We recognize the old, sexist program beneath the shiny new set design and the woke sidekick character. And we are not buying it anymore." They are demanding narrative accountability. They are asking the writers, "Did you know you were writing this bias? Was it intentional commentary, or did you just fall back on the toxic tropes you've inhaled since birth without thinking?" The explosion isn't just about the characters, it's about the writer's room. The silence from the show's creators is only fueling it. Because in today's world, no response is a response. It's read as guilt, as being caught. You might say, it's just a TV show. Why are people so angry? Because art doesn't just reflect life, it instructs it. These narratives are the blueprints for our expectations. They normalize the unequal warmth. For the countless women who were Anna, that clip is a trigger. It's a high-definition replay of the look on their own father's face. The withheld celebration. The conditional love. It validates a deep, old hurt. See? It wasn't in my head. The script for me really was different. My joy was treated as a crisis, while my brother's identical milestone was a parade. For parents, it's a chilling cautionary tale. It holds up a mirror and asks, do you have a Trent inside you? Have you written different, unseen contracts with your children based on their gender? It forces an uncomfortable self-audit. For everyone else, it's a masterclass in unconscious bias. It shows how prejudice isn't always loud hatred. Sometimes it's a quiet, automatic, less enthusiastic smile. It's the warmth gap. And seeing that gap play out so clearly in a fictional world makes it impossible to ignore in the real one. The stakes are the emotional legacies of real families. The pain of favoritism is a primal wound. This storyline touched that nerve. So, what now? The writers of Sunnyvale are, presumably, in a panic. They have a few options, some terrible, one potentially revolutionary. The ignore and hope it blows over strategy. This is a disaster. The internet has a permanent memory. Every subsequent scene with Trent and baby Leighton will be met with the avalanche of "what if it was Anna" comments. It will poison the well for the rest of the series. The show will become a meme, not a story. The retroactive justification. Have a character, maybe the mom, lightly chide Trent, "You know, you weren't this happy when Anna had her baby." Have Trent mumble, "I was younger, I was scared, I've grown." This is weak. It's a band-aid on a gunshot wound. It acknowledges the criticism just to dismiss it, and it doesn't address the years of patterned behavior. The meta-acknowledgement. Have a different character call it out. Have Anna's partner or a friend watch Trent with the baby and say, "Wow, it's nice to see this version of you. I wish Anna had gotten to see it." Make it a real, awkward, unresolved moment. This is better. It validates the audience's pain without immediately letting Trent off the hook. The radical, honest reckoning. This is the only path that could turn this scandal into the show's defining, brilliant moment. They need to make it the storyline. Don't shy away from it. Lean in. Have Anna see the clip. Have her break down, not in a typical sitcom, wacky misunderstanding way, but in a real, raw, silent hurt. Have her confront Trent. Not with yelling, but with devastating clarity. Imagine the scene. Anna stands in the doorway of the living room, watching Trent coo at baby Leighton. The same soft music from the viral clip doesn't play. It's just quiet. "Anna, you never looked at me like that." Trent's sad face confused, smiling, like, "What, honey? I'm just holding your nephew." "Anna, no. When I had Maya." "You never. Your face didn't look like that. It looked like someone had died." Trent's sad face, the smile fading. "Anna, that's not true. I love Maya. I was worried about you. It was a stressful time. Anna, it was joyful for me. And you made me feel like I'd ruined everything. But for Bryce, for him, it's nothing but joy. Pure, unfiltered joy. On your face." "I saw the clip, Dad. The whole world saw it. They all see the difference." "Trent, that's not fair. Every situation is different." "Anna, is it? Or was the only real difference that it was me, and I'm your daughter? Was I on a different set of rules my whole life? Was my success about staying on track, and Bryce's success was about finally getting on track? Have you ever, for 1 second, been as proud of me as you are of him right now?" Let Trent squirm. Let him have no good answer. Let him face the ugly truth of his own bias, not as a villain, but as a product of a system he never questioned. Let the comedy fall away completely for this arc, make it a genuine, painful, multi-episode family therapy session played out on screen. Let Trent apologize not just for the reaction, but for a lifetime of different standards. Let him have to earn Anna's forgiveness through changed behavior. That would be television history. It would transform the show from a purveyor of tired tropes into a vehicle for genuine cultural healing. It would tell every Anna watching, your pain is valid. Your observation is correct. And you deserve the full, unfiltered celebration. The viral question is, if Anna got pregnant, the reaction would not look like this. But perhaps the more important question, the one this scandal is forcing all of us to ask, is broader. Why does our culture still prepare fathers to mourn a daughter's sexuality while celebrating a son's? Why does the same act, becoming a parent, land on such radically different emotional terrain based on gender? The explosion over this Sunnyvale clip is the sound of that old, rotten framework finally cracking under the weight of our new awareness. The audience isn't just demanding a better storyline for Anna. They're demanding a rewrite of the ancient, unfair script we've all been handed. They're telling every writer, every parent, every person, the contract is up. The prodigal son and wayward daughter archetypes are cancelled. We are done with the warmth gap. So, to the creators of Sunnyvale and to everyone else, the world is watching. And this time, We're not just laughing at the jokes. We're reading the fine print. And we're demanding a rewrite. Host leans back, the intense energy softening into a final, direct address to camera. The ball is in your court. What happens next in Sunnyvale will be a tell. Will it be a masterclass in evasion, or a brave, messy, beautiful attempt at truth? But more importantly, what happens next in your world? In your family dynamics, in your expectations, in your silent contracts? Because the clip is just the trigger. The real story is what we do after the explosion. Let's make sure we're building something better in the silence that follows.